Good morning.
Good morning,
everyone. This is Maria Yager. This is John.
We'd like to just start and give a little background as to how this all got going. We're very lucky and fortunate to be part of this, but it started, yes?
Could you get closer to the mic, please?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
It started with a dream that Maria had as a young woman, and maybe she would elucidate on that.
Yeah, I will just make it short. I grew up as with a Roman Catholic church, so I go to church with my siblings. I have 8 siblings, and so we go to church twice a week. That's a Roman Catholic because I like going to church. As I'm searching for something, and then whenever I'm in church, I'm seeing things that it's not you don't usually see. So I asked the priest, there's something I can help, but it's new to them because my side of the family in the island of Leyte, which was hit by the storm, that's where my ancestors came. But they also married Spanish because the Spaniards came 1621, then they converted a lot of people except the Muslims, and then part of my family were converted, but still this they call this animism still sit with them, the shamanism. You can take that away, so the Catholic Church just accepted it because that's the way of the culture. And so Rizal came into the picture over 300 years or 3 centuries. The Spanish controlled the Philippines. The church and the state are one. They were one. And so Rizal, who was a genius, he studied he was an A student, he was a genius. He was sent to Spain. He was sent to Germany. He's a linguist. He became a doctor, famous doctor. He's a poet and writer. But his heart was always longing for the homeland, the motherland. So he went back home and he wrote books about a story about, it's kind of indirect, but the books were No Limit Tamari, which means touch me not, and La Solidaridad, the solidarity. So he put into this is the famous book. It outraged the church and the state. The governor Rosilio and the Fraile, they were so mad because they know it's them who are covered in this book. So it's this authored by Soledad Lacson Locsin of Talisay, translated from Spanish. So I always, so in short, he went back, he studied overseas in Europe, Spain, Germany. His best friend was, lived in Blumentritt, I kind of forgot his name, but he encouraged him to keep writing, so he was a prolific writer. But he came back because the love of the Philippines always in his heart. But December 30, 1898, he was killed by the Spanish. Yeah, because he came back. They want him out of the country. Because when he came back, he united the solidarity of Filipinos to fight against, this, people were going to church, but they were controlled in a way because it's whatever the church said, you got to obey. Yeah, you got to follow what they said. But Rizal said, no, you should train the priests, train us to run our own, our own government. And Governor Rosilio and the church said, no, you follow what we say. So they killed him in 1898, and so the people were united to stand against the foreign power because it's Spain. But unluckily, America and Spain were in trouble. So 1901, the Spanish-American War started. So they are already on the Fort Bonifacio, the Spanish, all those politicians were grouped there. Then George Dewey came and bombarded Manila Bay, and they got the Philippines, they got Manila and everywhere. 2,200 islands, that's the Philippines. Yeah. And this is what always stay with me. I went to college in Cebu, and so the remnants of Rizal there. He was exiled in Calamba, in Zamboanga, Dapitan. So he went to Mindanao. And I'll read to you this one so you can move on. And he said, this was translated in Spanish. So men and women are converted as men. It means women also, because it's it's matriarchal society, but it's patriarchal when the Spanish, they wrote things. And Rizal said, keep on advancing. Learn, and think much about what you learn. Life is a very serious matter. It goes well only for those who have intelligence and the heart. To live is to be among men and women also, and to be among men is to live. But to strive is not a brute-like selfish struggle, nor with men alone. It is a never-ending striving with a smile on the lips and tears in the heart. On this battlefield, man's strong weapon is his spirit. Bring your intelligence then and improve it. Strengthen and educate your spirit. By Dr. Jose Potasio Rizal. That's Filipino hero.
Now, from this, and what I wanted Maria to speak about was a dream she had, which led her to become a Rizalist, but it's okay, we don't have a little time. So the thing was is that she was looking and searching for a way for her life when she was young, and she met this mentor. And
Zamora is his name, Zamora.
And she didn't think too much of him, but she went to sleep that night and had a dream.
Oh, what happened? I visited him, my auto mechanic, because my father died, so I came back from Cebu and support the family because I have 8 siblings and mother was widowed. And my auto mechanic said, there's this guy who's like a wise man, he's like a psychic, and he was bedridden for 6 months, and then when he woke up, he's like a new man. So okay, we'll visit. I was working at timber company. I was a secretary receptionist, and I know the corruption, of course, because I was there. And so now he's just a psychic. He healed, he did chronic healing, all sort of things, and I was there at the stairs, and I said, yeah, man, I don't know if you're real. And then I came home. I wasn't interested because I was working in timber company, and then I had this dream, and it's a beautiful being of light talking to me that, are you ready to serve? Do you remember who you are? Are you willing to serve the light? I said, yes. And I was asleep the night. I went back because I was kind of like missing him. Then when I went back the next night, he said, here's your gift. This is the ring. So that converted me. He gave me a beautiful crystal. This is the ring in your dream. So wow. And then he was a Rizalist. But it was short-lived because 7 months after, he taught me what I need to know. And he opened a lot of things, and my questions were answered. He eventually, when he was killed, he was doing protests, and 6 of my friends were also killed. So at that point, he left me with a note that go to the mountain, save yourself, because they'll be after you. And so I kept the things that he left me, and I fled to the mountain and went with the Rizalists in this mountain we're trying to save. Wow.
And this is how it got started. And I didn't know anything about this when Marie married me. But she is told by a tribal leader that she was going to go to the West and meet a man to bring him back to save the people and bring help. Well, I was only told about this when a woman went into a trance state on a retreat in the mountain, and I was told that we were needed then, or I was needed to help save the forest and the people. So as time went on, in about 1994, we started this project. We started a cooperative to save the commons. And the commons, I feel it's important to us here. It's important throughout the whole world. The commons are the foundation of community in many respects. And the commons have a long history in the Philippines. The Philippines, the rural peoples had worked in common agricultural pursuits for years and years. Unfortunately, there's only a little bit of forest left, and the slash and burn Kaningan that they use destroys forests more readily today because of chainsaws. And so it just isn't a possibility, especially when you've got less than 5% of the forest left, which is the case in the Philippines, almost none. I mean, it's totally been destroyed by timber companies in conjunction with government officials, and this is still going on. And so this mountain, which is sacred to both the Rizalists and the Muslims, they both come here to, in fact, some of them come to on our land to fish in the waters from far away. we decided to make an effort to try and save this by creating some economic endeavor that would pull them out of the forest. And that was our first attempts, and they didn't always meet with success. It's a little more difficult, and it's, you know, it even seems when you're thinking about it all rosy-eyed, and it gets more and more difficult as you get into it. And we had 1,000 mango trees cut down. We, you know,
1996.
in '96, we had a lot of things happen within the dynamics of the people. We had the death of two of the important priests that went on and left a vacuum in leadership, because these priests could conserve the rainforest because their ethics were so respected, that honor of the elders that kept intact those forests. Well, we sort of ponied up with the local politicians. We did a lot of political work. We created a cooperative. Politicians, regardless of how good they are, have to look for votes for the next election. So whenever we needed them to really speak out, we always found a little vacuum. But there was one politician that we could depend on for conservation efforts, and that was Tina Yu, who's got a daughter who's a doctor, right, and a son who's an environmental lawyer, and over here. And she really had her heart in the right place on conserving the mountain. And she originally got through the lawmakers in the Philippines. The national park on the top of the mountain only, though. That only included the pygmy forest.
Just to convince Aquino, because the governor is pro-mining, also a lady. She's pro-mining, and her brother is the biggest illegal logger. And they got 10 containers of mahogany in Davao City Port and Manila that was caught by the customs. So she's trying to appease the people by giving them rights, whatever. But people know that the corruption is very deep.
The corruption is deep in most places.
You gotta do something.
But so we continued to work on this, and the longhouse came into our head as the way to bridge the gap between the people and the tourists who were giving to come. This was not a World Heritage Site yet. This was just the national park, and there was already sort of the beginning vestiges of protection, but it was always broken down because some of the protectors, the forest guards, were actually the people stealing from the forest in some cases. I mean, it was, you know, we know these people. They're either friends of ours or enemies of ours or whatever. Everybody's sort of a friend, but you have to be, you know, you sort through it.
Sort of friend, but you gotta watch your back.
But we started building the longhouse out of this dream of giving an alternative endeavor for the people, because we're losing, particularly women who might be bold cover girl over here,
Girls and just
or just washing along the stream, their clothes just rags. I mean, the poverty, the extent of the poverty in these rural areas of the Philippines and lots of other places was astounding. So today, right now as we speak, that longhouse is opening up in June, and the people are more excited than we've ever heard from them.
There's 30 beds in it, 30 beds. Keep sending money so we can finish the foam. And people from Manila, from Aquino's, President Aquino's office came to training because the governor wants to talk with me, because she wants something, longhouse, but I'm holding. In fact, they built the museum in our land, part of our land, without asking permission. Politicians can do anything they want, but I'm not backing up. So I decided not to go there because I don't want to deal with politicians. I just want to focus on the work, focus and stay active. Because there's nothing you can do with politicians. They want something, and if you don't give it, you become the enemy. So I'll stay back now.
It's patience, it's just dedication. And the big thing that's happened is the people are going to run. They have, Tina has given that okay for the longhouse to be the only resort on the mountain. And it's going to be a native resort with only native food, no Western food. And so this has been a gratifying thing. But it wasn't all our doing. The people did this. The people built this longhouse. This has been a long, long effort. And it was, this is, Rizalists are behind this because they believe.
They were the guides of the mountain. And they were the guides so people can see the Philippine eagle, which are about 8 feet. Very big, yeah. I think you can see them from our land because we bought lands in order to preserve the forest. We have to buy the lands because all the neighboring lands were slashed and burned, cut. You can hear chainsaws when you were there, but when UNESCO came, we tried to, ask Tina help us here because the forest has to be protected, and in order to protect it, we got to do something, a project that people will think that this is good for us. Because most of the kids, when the 2 priests died, most of the kids, instead of working a farm, they go to gold mines. Yeah, they're leaving the farm, so there's a big vacuum. And the old people used to be taking care of the Rizalists. They're not taking care anymore. So, and then, so when we are talking, what can we do about this? We need to do something. Common farm is not enough. People need our mangoes came back, and cashews came back. But people want money, the copra is so cheap. So he said, we'll do something. Yeah. So I prayed, we prayed. Then a dream came to me. That's what happened. I told him, the beings of light said, we have to, do the project in the mountains. So we built the Longhouse 2000 as our spiritual retreat. We didn't know what's the future, so we just go with the flow. I just told him, maybe it's time we build the Longhouse.
Now, one note. This was a Muslim homestead at one time, and I fell in a foxhole, a Muslim foxhole on his land. But this province, or this municipality, rather, but it's run by Tina and her family for many, many years, some breaks in there, has a unique relationship with the Muslims. They've given them autonomous villages. There's very little animosity in this area, and it's largely, in my opinion, due to the responsible relationships that Tina's worked through that, and her husband, who is retired now. But I think that the big thing is that one must recognize that whatever we can save is important, but particularly here. This is the most complex rainforest on Earth. Southeast Asia, or very southeastern Asia, Borneo, and the rainy part of Mindanao is the most complex and oldest rainforest on Earth. And there is so little left.
In fact, we have severe drought there, but the mountain always has rain, so the rivers keep flowing. But the neighboring rivers in San Isidro, they're dry now.
Now, we could show a few slides if you'd like to.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
This is the front porch of the loghouse. This is inside the longhouse. This is everything was native. There was no road when we built this longhouse. This is before the road came. Everything was carried or built there.
rooms upstairs. That's made of amakan and rattan. This is the bigger room that you can put 3 beds there. That's a bathroom upstairs. That's more rooms. Yeah, it's all rattan, and that's 4 rooms there. There's a stairs going downstairs, going down. That's the deck upstairs. People want to have birthday parties, you know, they go up there and eat. That's the kitchen that we're removing out of the building now, so they can put more rooms. So there's kind of like dirty kitchen outside now.
We didn't want the traditional kitchen to smoke out of this, so we had to move it.
This is a table made of fallen wood also. The architect is kind of my brother. He's an artist. We went mountain climbing and we stopped here just to eat. We went 6 hours up mountain climbing with the Rizalists and stopped here, brought out our food. That's from below, looking up.
This has been all remodeled since these shots.
This is, yeah. Yeah, there are about 30 beds, 15 rooms, I think. It just, that's the water from the falls. We have a falls about, and people want to go swimming because there's a road. And we said no, so there's UNESCO doesn't want them to go up anyway. Oh, that's during the construction. Yeah. Everything is just handmade.
We milled that log. We had a chainsaw up there. It was
The people, okay.
it's
The Rizalists.
where's the other? Was it farmhouse? Where's the other?
People, it's right here.
I gotta find it.
You can go to the mountain also, see the mountain.
Go sit up there next to him. Go sit up front. Go sit up front. You can hear better.
This is just nursery about mangoes and other plants. I not about, but
Can we talk after?
this is land we actually just bought. It has a big spring on it. This is an example of slash and burn agriculture. Or actually, no. This was originally cut for logging. This particular piece of property.
Never came back.
Never came back. And remember, the reason this is a cloud forest at the top
It's got cloud
with the
forest
pygmy
on top.
forest is because of heavy metal deposits.
Actually, that's the land that the bottling company wants to buy because there's a big spring.
3 chairs
It's
right
just an
there.
orchid.
Can you go sit down?
That's one of the orchids that you see on the trail. And pitcher plants.
These are actually vines that grow way up in the trees. They're like kitchen plants in America. They're much, much more. Now this is the beginning of the rainforest behind the longhouse. This is uncut. We bought this in, when did we buy this? Long time ago. Yeah, when did we buy it?
1994.
This is looking out from the property the longhouse is on into the valley.
That to the mountain.
This just happened to be, we took this is where we grow durian.
The one in green, that's ours, and the yellow are our neighbors. That's taken about half a mile away.
Durian's the most nutritious fruit, essentially, in the world in terms of total nutrition. It's a rainforest tree.
That's the bay that the mining company, that little island, that's where the mining company was mining ore, copper, silver. That was top. And this is the museum. This is the trail now turned into a road, big road. And that's part of our property, and the province didn't ask permission from us because we're here.
And by the way, we had discussed with Tina about this, leaving a trail. We're going to run the museum down at the base of the mountain on some land she bought. Actually, we paid a tax on that land too. But unfortunately, as things unfolded, the governor evidently and the tourism minister wanted to
Go up the mountain.
go up the mountain,
1
and so
mile.
it happened, and we fought to stop it, but we weren't successful. But you have to take your losses and your gains.
That's,
And it's much better than the alternative. So this didn't happen, it would be mine.
the mines will be all over. Another mining is one of the miners on the other side, and we stopped them.
Now,
It's inside the rainforest.
the lianas, they climb up most trees. It just, it's extremely, this is a vanilla copal tree. It's what they make high-class linoleum out of today,
Vinyl.
or they use it for incense resin. But Germans and other people buy this resin for their expensive houses.
It's also used for vinyl.
But unfortunately, resin collecting often kills a tree because it doesn't get enough resin exuded naturally, so they slash the trees to get the resin.
Because you have to cut the wood
And
into those
these trees are
stars.
truly magnificent. That's some resin coming out of the tree.
I mean, it could be a challenge for you guys to keep your land the way it is without being there. You have people,
It's because of the people.
The Rizalists
you
are
got
there.
lots of people watching over you.
There's always people. We couldn't do this without it. It isn't us, it's the people. It's their, for instance, a good friend just came back. She was a housekeeper in a city away, housemaid away, and she came back to work on the longhouse. I mean, it's only through having allies that we could accomplish anything.
It's a village.
But, you know, this forest is extremely beautiful, and some of the trees are magnificent in their size.
That's a little forest.
Yeah, and if you,
At noon, the fog starts coming in, and sometimes it rains. You got the river flowing all the time.
this is at the base of the mountain, and this is going through some, our Maria's mother's place is right here, just above there. And this stream flows all the time. It flows pretty clear unless it's really flooded. But nearby, where there is no forest left, rivers are dry.
The rivers are dry.
Right now, they are dry. This is before the road.
Yeah.
This is where the road is now. This is the way it used to be when we built the lawn.
Yeah, that's a trail that we used to bring the things. Yeah, now it's about, Rosan said it's about 30 feet wide. They're really,
This is how the people live in the valley, little villages like this. They used to farm, and they go out to the mountains. There's still a few doing this, but very few mountain farmers left. The ways of the past are disappearing quick, not just here, but everywhere. This is one of the rare moments you can see.
in a clear day you can see one, there are 7 mountains, so that's one of the 2 ranges you can see. There's Philippine eagles there.
This is the beaches. They're totally undeveloped, and at this point,
That's mangrove
and it's
forest.
a mangrove forest. Just looking down the beach.
There's no industry there, no factory. It's all just fishing.
And does everybody know where this is approximately? Well, if you were to leave here, the best way I suggest is to fly to Singapore. In Singapore, you get a flight to Batam, which is the largest city in the southern Philippines. It's in Mindanao. And from there, you'll have to get a bus or a taxi or someplace to go to the land, which is a peninsula north of Davao, about 3 hours from there.
But they always pick us up now.
Well, that us, but I mean, if they were going there, they'd have to get there. You can reach the mountain easily, but
We got reservations now from 4 Americans, and they're going there June 20. So they're kind of like, they have a marathon
finishing the rooms. And we got the kids who are, some of the kids came back from the mines, so they can assist the tourists. Yeah, because they're working as, they're not educated, they have to start panning gold or do something. And, without the priest, it's really hard. We have a hardship with them, but we have to show by showing them by action that we can do something, because some are going to the mines to work, and so we want to stop the mining, really stop the mines by doing something else that will give them livelihood and protect the forests. Because without the forest, they're gone. Just won't be there anymore. Okay. Yeah, just get a few.
Well, this is some of the politicking that goes on. Actually, we're just sitting on the porch, Mama's porch here. And
With the mayor.
yeah, well, not right yet now. This is the guys out Tuba Festival, which is a regular 2 bucks coconut wine, best wine in the world. At least low alcohol relatively, but the consumption rates are pretty high. So that's
Well, they were taking a break from working.
but this is up on the mountain,
On a Good Friday.
and this is the Rizalist retreat. People come from all over to come to these retreats. Unfortunately, this has been cleared a lot more, and it's growing back in now, but somebody got it in their mind to clear quite an area on top of the mountain in the cloud forest, and so that's what went on. And at that time,
It's the mayor now.
this is TDU with Maria. And we've
Keep going. That's some of our co-op members working.
this is kids, books.
That's a Rizalist chapel now. They always have Rizal with the Sacred Heart of Holy Father. They always have the picture of Rizal because Rizal was the Christ of the Philippines. We didn't see Jesus, he saw Christ, gave up his life.
We planted that breadfruit tree right there behind that young man in, I think, '92. Now the kids climb up those trees and live off those
Behind
breadfruit seeds.
It's about 25 feet. And has a breadfruit of about 500 kilos per harvest.
That's Maria's mother in this picture here.
And people.
And people, and Rizalist.
What cares? Yeah. And we always have a porch there because on hot days you have to sit back, and that's old bamboo there. And you need a porch in the tropics. This is Good Friday when the Monsignor of the Rizalists came, and he's also a farmer. In fact, he's the one doing our amakan for more walls. Yeah. This is our fish pond, tilapia fish pond, next to the house. I think we're done, huh?
Yeah, we did.
That's a market. That's a gypsy.
That, by the way, is the bound transportation that we use
For
to get to the land.
for 20 plus years.
Yep. We've been driving that